I recently received a call from a buyer asking about underground storage tanks and what kinds of problems could be involved with that. So stay tuned and we'll look into this. Hi, I'm Kelley Knitz of the Kelley Knitz Team, and thanks for joining me today. Underground storage tanks are not very common, but it's worth knowing about because occasionally you'll run across one, especially at home out in the country. So here are some questions I've been asked. Question number 1, how does a buyer know if a property has an underground storage tank buried or not? Well, if the seller has knowledge of the underground storage tank, they're required to fill out the property disclosure form and disclose it on a 5-page disclosure form. But there may be a chance that the seller is unaware of an underground storage tank and they don't have any knowledge that one exists. So then, they don't disclose it. And question number 2, in what circumstances would you be on the lookout for an underground storage tank? Well, the answer to that is if you're looking out in the country for a farmhouse or something like that. Many times an old farm would have a barn on the property, and next to the barn they would have an underground storage tank that they would put their gas in to fuel their tractors and other equipment that they use. And they kind of look like a vent coming out of the ground, a little hooked vent like that. So I would look around the exterior of a barn, and that would be evidence that there could be an underground storage tank near the barn. And number 3, actually I kind of answered that with number 2. If you look around the barn and you see something sticking out of the ground, it kind of looks like a candy cane like this, like I just said with number 2, question number 2. That's probably an underground storage tank vent. So that's what they look like. And number 4, how do I know, or how do you know, if the vent pipe was used for an underground storage tank? Well, I would have an inspector investigate. I've seen inspectors drop a line down in the pipe and then pull it out and see if it smells like gas or if it's wet. And I've also seen inspectors drop a coin down in it, and then they listen they listen to see if they hear it dropping into a liquid, or they can hear the sound of an echo. If the tank is empty, it'll echo. And number 5, why is this a problem for home buyers and sellers? Well, actually for sellers it's quite a big problem and an expensive problem if it needs to be fixed properly, because when you have an underground storage tank, it has to be removed for many types of financing, and then the state fire marshal has to be out there during the removal, and they'll be testing the surrounding ground for contamination, and the soil has to be sent out to the lab to be tested, and if it's contaminated, that soil must be removed. And the process can be very costly, and it could cause you to lose the sale. So that's actually why it's a big problem for buyers and sellers. And mainly, the buyer could accept it that way, but they might not be able to get their financing if there's an underground storage tank with contaminated soil around it. So the financing is the biggest issue. Not only are there underground storage tanks, but, there are also abandoned septic tanks that are on properties that they should be properly filled or properly abandoned according to the county specifications, so somebody doesn't fall in to the tank. Many times when you get a public sewer, the old septic tank is left there, and you're supposed to properly abandon it by filling it in with stone. So that's another issue that you might run across that could be a little bit expensive. As you can see, the most likely place to find these kinds of tanks are in the country, but it helps to know what you're looking for and to have some kind of knowledge, or to have a knowledgeable inspector out there looking at it for you. I hope this helps. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to share this information with you today. If you found it helpful and liked it, click the like button. And if you want to receive more videos as they become available, just subscribe below and you'll be notified when the next video is available so you can watch it. And finally, if you have anything you want to add to this conversation, put it in the comment section below. Or if you have any questions, you can leave them below and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Thanks again for joining me today.